She's interviewed me over the years, followed her work for years, huge interviews, Tucker Carlson, you name it. She's going and covering the trial. And she was able to get from someone that was able to record her conversation some of the family members talking about, yeah, we don't believe the official story. We think he's innocent. We don't believe that gun, any of it. Just amazing. And, she's got more to talk about here today. But this is a big deal. But I want to be clear about Candace Owens. I was one of the first to ever interview her. Paul Watson was our reporter. Then I had her on. She came to Austin, thought she was a great lady. I guess, I don't want to say I was in denial, but I saw the trans movement say we're going to kill Kirk when he comes to town. I saw them say he'll be dead when he gets here. I saw the crowd jump up and cheer when Charlie got shot, and the famous operative jump up and say, I did it, so that the, quote, shooter could escape. And you see so much trans violence, I thought, well, that makes sense. But then I was open to everything else, and then I was investigating stuff that Candace was just going through investigation. I get that. The Egyptian planes and then the Mitch Snow stuff, and I wasn't saying there weren't people involved outside of Tyler Robinson. I broke 6 days after the Cash Patel was in the meeting. I got this from White House people that were afraid to put it out. It was confirmed months later. Patel said, you're not looking, Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Ken, at foreign involvement that led to Israel, by the way. I learned that later. It was just foreign involvement then, or anybody helping. So we were saying clearly there's a cover-up, and I just got off on a rabbit trail because when I said, hey, this Egyptian thing isn't right, this isn't right, I got attacked by pissed off people, and I took it personal and went down the path of proving I was right about Egyptian planes in Fort Huachuca, which obviously I was. I don't have 12 colonels meeting to do a hit the day before. It's not how it works. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a cover-up that Tyler Robinson was basically a setup or a patsy like Lee Harvey Oswald or Tim McVeigh. It doesn't mean that the 30-06 bullets, don't go through necks. And so I kind of got caught in a thing of my really own construction, also our surrogates attacking me and saying you're a Mossad agent and all that crap. But it was just a rabbit hole. It was a rabbit trail. It was a distraction. But in the last few months, Mark Levin threatening Tucker and people and saying, you'll get it. Your little talk show, we'll take you off the air. Jonathan Greenblatt, who's now got it where anybody that criticizes Israel is banned from coming to the U.S. or the World Cup, saying we need to use the same energy of exploding pagers that we used against Hamas, against Americans. I mean, I can play the clips. Calling for nuclear war, Israel literally trying to take over our domestic policy, not just foreign. You know me, folks, I don't have some hard on for Israel, but now that Israel's coming into the power vacuum to control our country, it really is true. Via Netanyahu. You have all the former intelligence chiefs over there saying he's horrible. I'm not trying to blame Israel in general. And I don't do that to not get Israel to attack me. I try to be fair. But it was just so horrible that our government could be involved in cover up and involved that I'll admit it, I couldn't believe it. Because so much good was done previously before Trump took this bad turn the last 9 months and 7 months ago when Charlie got killed. And I didn't put connections to later. I went and checked my text and my phone records. He called me first and thanked me for opposing the Iran war during Midnight Hammer 9 months ago and said, keep it up, it's having an effect. They want us to get this full war. The warmongers, the neocons, the Israel lobby. And then he called me right before he got killed and said, keep it up, like a month before, on Epstein. It needs to come out. It's the right thing. There's forces here trying to cover it up. You're having an effect. Keep it up. And his text messages are out, him telling other people that. So Charlie really was doing this. They're going to say, oh, Joe Kent's a liar. He didn't tell him that. Charlie was on record saying, we don't want this Iran war and we need to expose Epstein. And he was very powerful. And now they released the text messages that Candace Owens told the truth, that the Israel lobby was on his ass and threatening him. So I think they're the prime suspects in that because they've been.
In this live stream here, I'm going to be bringing up the segment where Alex Jones goes on camera with and Elizabeth Lane, and she's going to be providing some more insights into the Charlie Kirk shooting. And I thought it was interesting to look at that, just given the recent events at the White House, like the White House dinner that happened with the shooting on Saturday. So I think this was a good time to kind of also review what happened with the Charlie Kirk incident. So without further ado, I'm going to let it play. Just wanted to give some context as to what to expect.
Funders of him, and he was totally pro-Israel, which I've never been wanting to get rid of Israel. Now that Israel wants a greater Israel, drag us into total war. I don't want to get rid of Israel, but I want to get rid of them controlling us. So I want to play this short Candace Owens clip where she airs Elizabeth Lane clip that she got from someone else that recorded her conversation in the courthouse. And you need to follow her at elizabethlane.co. Also her on X. We'll put that URL up. And she's on YouTube as well. This is groundbreaking work. And she can also talk about the fact that she's been talking to a lot of folks there and wherever she wants to go with this as far as she wants to go. Here, I know she has a lot of sources and things. We'll let her be in control of the conversation. But here's the clip of Candace Owens talking about Elizabeth Lane's information and the recording she gave her that someone else recorded. Here it is.
Anyway, first things first, a sleuth contacted me from the courthouse of a Tyler Robinson hearing. They were able to record Tyler Robinson's grandfather while he was having a conversation with the reporter, Elizabeth Lane. Now, out of courtesy, I did alert Elizabeth Lane that I was sent this and that I was in possession of the recording and that I intended to use it. She said that she had already sort of spoken about her conversation with him. So I think we are in the all clear here, but apparently there was a break during the hearing and someone was lingering behind Tyler's grandfather and group of people as he spoke to Elizabeth. And what he has to say is quite interesting. And foremost, before we play it, I want to just say that his presence in general should interest you, right? Because we have been told by many liars on the internet that Tyler Robinson's family does not support him. To the contrary, they turned him in, remember? They recognized Grandpa's gun on the news. Dad or mom recognized Grandpa's gun on the news, which is weird because the news did not actually release a photo of Grandpa's gun. They just released a photo of something similar. Anyways, the story goes, according to the liars, that they then convinced him to turn himself in. They think their son's guilty. They're going to testify against him. Now, I have told you from the very beginning that that is simply not true, that his father does not believe that he did it. His grandmother has spoken to journalists, and she said that she does not believe that he did it. Rather, and also I should say, Sheriff Brooksby did admit.
Now I'm curious. So apparently Candace is saying, I'm really curious here because Candace is saying that apparently Tyler Robinson's grandmother is saying that Candace, that Tyler actually didn't do it. But then the media would have us believe that his whole family, they're pretty much disappointed in him and in awe and they turned him in. But it looks like that is not correct according to Miss Owens here. But I'll keep it playing. Definitely interesting.
Rather, the truth is that Tyler Robinson was essentially coerced to go in, right? We can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way sort of a situation. He and his family were told that they were going to make an arrest either way. And if he didn't want the SWAT team or whoever it is that comes in to bang down the door and hold a weapon to his face and put his parents at risk, then he better do things the easy way. Like I said, the question here is, what does his grandfather think? Because he knows that gun. It's his gun, right? It's a family heirloom. It is his gun or was his gun before it was passed down to Tyler Robinson. So he knows that weapon better than anyone. Let's take a listen. And of course, I'm accounting for sound. We've tried to use AI, bring the voices up and get rid of the background sound. Here's what his grandfather had to say briefly at the hearing.
Some have a stash of $80. Oh, they did? A credit card or?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you guys for Tyler? What are you for Tyler or the other side?
Grandparents.
Oh, your grandparents? Oh, wow.
I'm really sorry you're going through this.
Yeah, it's tough for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks. Well, we're here to support.
Yeah. We think your grandchild is absolutely brilliant, but I'm an investigative journalist. So
Well, I see. I'm not for that's what you do.
Man, you know, your guns, like, I can tell you that you're very right. That's why,
And
yeah.
my dad was a cop for years.
Yeah.
He showed me all of this.
So just to add some context, I believe that who is interviewing Tyler Robinson's grandparents, that is Elizabeth Lane, and she's going to be actually coming on the Alex Jones show shortly. But I believe this interview right now is between Elizabeth Lane and Tyler Robinson's grandparents.
Yeah, of course, but
Oh, hold up. hold up. Granddad says that he is here to support. He's here to support his grandson. It sounds like he is of the same opinion as Tyler Robinson's grandmother, that he did not do this, that he was not capable of doing this.
To be honest, I'm going to have to push back a little bit with Candace there, right? I'm going to have to push back on Candace there, because just because the grandfather said he's there to support doesn't necessarily mean that he's saying that his grandson is innocent. You could be there to support your guilty grandson, right? Because even guilty people require support from their loved ones.
And for clarity, Grandpa asserts that he himself is a hunter, right? He also says that his father, that would be Tyler Robinson's great-grandfather, was a cop for a while in that town who taught him ballistics. And he says that that is not what a 30-06 would do.
All right. Elizabeth Lane, who lives in Utah, journalist up there, been a guest with us, been in studio, interviewed by her, is up there to give us more on this and more background and more of what she's getting in the courthouse that wasn't recorded by some bystander that got this and gave it to her, or was given to Candace, and now she's been pulled into this. She can flesh all this out. I called her this morning. I was about to go on air. She was telling me stuff, but I had to get off and go on air. So just to make sure it's all clear, let her have the floor. Elizabeth, amazing information, because we're told the whole family says he did it and there's a total agreement. This flies in the face of that, Elizabeth Lane.
Yes, Alex. Well, thank you for inviting me. And yes, well, you heard the grandpa, this narrative that we were fed that, family turned him in and they might even testify against him, or they think that he's guilty. I mean, all bullshit, excuse my language here, okay. But yes.
Unless there's a different voice recording, right? Like what I heard there, I didn't hear the grandparents saying that Tyler Robinson is innocent. Just the grandpa saying that he's there to support the grandson. So that doesn't necessarily mean that he's innocent. I just want to be clear on that. So I'm yet to see any proof that the grandparents were actually supporting him by saying that like he's innocent, as Alex Jones and Elizabeth Lane, they're kind of alluding to. Yeah, so support is different from assuming that he's innocent.
Grandpa said himself, I know what a 30-06 can do. I'm a hunter. And when I said that I believe, sir, that your grandchild is being framed, he said, I do too. And
maybe I missed that part. I might have missed the part where maybe I missed that conversation. It was really hard to listen at that point. We might have to go back. Actually. Let's go back.
Grandfather think, because he knows that gun. It's his gun, right? It's a family heirloom. It is his gun, or was his gun, before it was passed down to Tyler Robinson. So he knows that weapon better than anyone. Let's take a listen. And of course, I'm accounting for sound. We've tried to use AI, bring the voices up and get rid of the background sound. Here's what his grandfather had to say briefly at the hearing.
Someone have a stash of favors.
Oh, they did? A credit card or?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you guys for Tyler? What are you for Tyler or the other side? Oh, your grandparents? Oh, wow.
I'm really sorry you're going through this.
Yeah, it's tough for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks. Well, we're here to support.
Yeah. We think your grandchild is absolutely brave, but I'm an investigative journalist. So
Well, I see.
Corrected, y'all. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. So yes, the grandfather indeed said that he does believe that Tyler Robinson is being framed as well. So yeah. So now if the mainstream would have you believe that all of Tyler's family, they were like, okay, Tyler is guilty, this definitely goes against that narrative for sure. So I do stand corrected. And in fact, the grandfather is in fact implying that Tyler Robinson is innocent, contrary to what the mainstream media would have you believe. Apologies for that.
So that's what you do.
Man, you're a godsend. I can tell you that you're very right. That's why, yeah.
And my dad was a cop for years.
Yeah.
He showed me all of this.
of course, but
Well, hold up. Hold up. Granddad says that he is here to support. He's here to support his grandson. It sounds like he is of the same opinion as Tyler Robinson's grandmother, that he did not do this, that he was not capable of doing this. And for clarity, Grandpa asserts that he himself is a hunter, right? He also says that his father, so that would be Tyler Robinson's great-grandfather, was a cop for a while in that town who taught him ballistics. And he says that that is not what a 30-06 would do.
All right, Elizabeth Lane, who lives in Utah, journalist up there, been a guest with us, been in studio, interviewed by her, is up there to give us more on this and more background and more of what she's getting in the courthouse that wasn't recorded by some bystander that got this and gave it to her, or was given to Candace, and now she's been pulled into this. She can flesh all this out. I called her this morning. I was about to go on air. She was telling me stuff, but I had to get off and go on air. So just to make sure it's all clear, let her have the floor. Elizabeth, amazing information, because we're told the whole family says he did it. There's a total agreement. This flies in the face of that, Elizabeth Lane.
Yes, Alex. Well, thank you for inviting me. And yes, well, you heard the grandpa, this narrative that we were fed that, family turned him in and they might even testify against him, or they think that he's guilty. I mean, all bullshit, excuse my language here. Okay. But yes, grandpa said himself, I know what a 30-06 can do. I'm a hunter. And when I said that I believe, sir, that your grandchild is being framed, he said, I do too. And I believe that he's sincere. In fact, I watched for over 6 hours. I watched this family sit there and support Tyler fully, completely. And they were very much on the same wavelengths when it gets to whether they support Tyler or not and what they think. So, yes, I absolutely, with all certainty, can say that grandparents support Tyler. I believe parents believe that he's innocent. So, yes. That narrative is not something something that rings true anymore.
Well, I mean, wow, we're told they all agree he did it. That's the end of it, even though his confession letter to the trainee boyfriend looks like it's written by ChatGPT. Obviously, a 30-06 bullet goes right through your neck at 500 yards, much less 150 yards. So when you're talking to the family, you're there, you say the sense of this, they support him, and getting into this tape, what you make of that coming out, and now where you see this going.
So I'm going to say a couple of things. Well, the hearing itself was very informative. I didn't think it was going to be this informative because we had hearings before, and I was
looking at this right here. So like, this is how blatant it was, right? Like that guy is like literally right in the open, right? You can clearly see him right there. Like there's no way that someone can be allowed to be like just loitering around where a presidential candidate is. So for sure, a lot of people saying that there might have been a stand down. That's definitely not unfounded.
there, and it was mostly mundane and it didn't go anywhere. So we were all waiting for the trial because we know that real things will come out during the trial, right? So defense is not going to showcase their strategy right before the trial. And unlike what most people believe, actually, prosecution is not obligated to hand over everything, every little detail to the defense. What they must do is hand over everything they are accusing Tyler Robinson of. But I don't know if you watched the trial. So there were two main agendas, right? One was to take the cameras out of the courtroom, and another one was continuance. Defense was asking for both. So defense asked to take the cameras out of the courtroom, which was weird to me because I just don't understand why would they want that. The reason was that mainstream media, and not just mainstream media, but also podcasters and internet is displaying Tyler as a murderer and a psychopath, which is again not true. But this was like defense's narrative, maybe to stall the time, so that they have enough time to review all the documents, because they were bombarded by like the sheer amount of videos and these files that were dumped on these people is just incredible. So I'm assuming they just wanted to win time and they were trying to get this, cameras out and kind of trying to stall the process.
If you ask me, I would say that definitely that looked to be, it looks to me like there was definitely a stand down there, right? Like, no way. Like, look at how blatant it was, unless Charlie Kirk just doesn't have any security detail, which I'll be surprised given the kind of messaging that he had. Very controversial, very outspoken, right? So for sure, he had to have a security detail stronger than that one that would just allow someone to have a clear line of fire at him. Looks really, really odd. Definitely odd. Similar to what we saw at up in Pennsylvania with DJT. I think I mixed up earlier. I'm having an off night tonight, guys.
Also, they said that, which is true, that FBI has not handed over key piece of evidence, key piece of evidence to the defense. And what we're talking about here is something called electronic DNA sample. So what does that mean? They gave defense the results of the DNA test, which means that they said Tyler Robinson's DNA matched with the towel, with the ballistics, with the gun, with all of that. But what they did not provide is how they got that result, which is very important. Because, I can say all day that I got the results from A, B, and C, but if you can't show me what tests you did to do so, then am I supposed to just believe you? So now what people are missing is that were they supposed to provide all this evidence right before preliminary hearing? No, by law, they can withhold this evidence before preliminary hearing. So they have to just give it up before the trial. So in a way, what the prosecution is doing is stalling. But what is weird about this is that Erica Kirk asked for a speedy trial. And so did Kesh Patel. If I correctly recall, Kesh said then no stone will be left unturned, and it was Charlie and everything will be investigated, all that, and they wanted to be done with this case as soon as possible, be efficient. Yet 6 months after, FBI still hasn't given the evidence to the defense.
True. If you remember, Erica Kirk definitely came out and she said, please, I would like this to be resolved and investigated promptly. So it is true. Elizabeth Lane does have a good point here. It's taken them half a year and they're still they're still trickling in the evidence that they have. So if they have more evidence, why are they trickling it in? Why don't they just put it all out there and bombard this guy, right? Definitely begs the question, for sure.
And, what's shocking is that they haven't even seen the gun. Defense has not seen the actual gun. And that's, to me, I don't know what to make of it, because if Erica wants a speedy trial, that she's been talking in every show she goes to, she says that it's my right to have a speedy trial. Great, well, have it then. You're the victim. You know Kesh Patel really well. Why not call Kesh up and say, what's the holdup with this stuff? I want this guy behind the bars ASAP. Why are you holding the evidence? Just ship it to them. Right?
Well, it's just amazing. Looking at all of this, if Tyler Robinson didn't do it and his family doesn't believe he did it, then, and obviously his lawyers are starting to fight it and saying the evidence isn't there and all the rest of it, why doesn't he just come out and say not guilty and, speak out and say this? Because to me, he looks like he's drugged out of his mind when he's up there.
Well, I don't know whether he is drugged out or not, but I know one thing, that if it was me in the defense team, I would be saying, do not speak a word, because everything you speak and you communicate may be used against you, right? Now, is that the right tactics for the family? No, but that's what they are told because they have, they don't have like the special lawyers that they picked out of best lawyer, 10 best lawyer list or something. They have typical Utah lawyers provided by the state. They are going
So one thing not clear to me is like how exactly did this guy get him? Like, because what I'm understanding from Elizabeth Lane here and Alex Jones is that Tyler Robinson allegedly or potentially could have been framed. But then still, the question I have is, how did he find himself in this situation in the first place? Why him?
exactly the route that every very average, I would even say like weak team would take, and that's your Tyler Robinson's defense crew. So they're telling the family that shut up, like zip it. You can't, at least it's my assumption, you can't talk to anybody because everything you say may be used against us, right? So that's understandable. I would have done the same. It's just to this level, it's kind of weird that Tyler hasn't said anything. I mean, he was just quiet in the court as well, in the room. It's just all out weird. Well, I mean, the defense itself, kind of how they presented the entire case, to me looked very weak. They were not prepared. They didn't get what they asked for from the judge. So they've got partially like this camera deal. The judge told them that, well, we'll partially remove the cameras depending on what's going on in the courtroom, right? That's the only thing they got. And they asked for 3 months extra.
Saying that Tyler Robinson's defense, they're kind of like compromised, and so they're like standing down, or could it be that they don't really have a strong leg to stand on?
The continuance, and they didn't get that. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing was really strange and weird, and I can go into the prosecution side of things if you want me to, but yeah.
No, please. You're the one observing it. Please tell us what you've been witnessing.
So it's very odd that prosecution came out and started talking about what kind of evidence they were going to show against Tyler Robinson. But here's what was odd about it. So they said we have camera that Tyler Robinson showed up day before with his car on the location. We have evidence that Tyler Robinson got up on that roof and fired the shots. We have evidence of him escaping, all of this stuff. But then they go and spend like good 2 minutes talking about, we will see Tyler Robinson's shirt. We will see Tyler Robinson's pants, his shoes, his cap, his glasses. I don't understand why they needed this. You can't just say you will see very clear faces.
By the way, I've talked to FBI agents, former ones, current. When they have stuff like that, they put it out front. They want to taint the jury. This thing about they hold it back, they never do that. So the fact that they tell the judge, oh, we have all this without showing it, very suspicious.
Well, the suspicious part to me is the clothes. Like, they didn't say we have his face. Like, they didn't say, you know what, we have his face, he's on it, like, it's a done deal, like, he's guilty, right? They went on talking about his clothes. I mean, if you have the dude on the camera, right, then you have him. We don't need to know what particular shirt you have, what particular shoes you have. We'll see it, but the reason they went into it, because I suspect that when the trial day comes, and if that even comes, because I also suspect that they will make a deal before that, but if we will see the trial day one day, they will show us a guy going with Tyler's clothes up on the roof, shooting the gun, running away, but I suspect that we will not see Tyler's face. And that is why they took their sweet time to explain that they have the shirt and, pants and all that. Just say you have.
Still, so who is this guy that they are holding, Tyler Robinson, and why are they holding him? So still, how did he find himself in this situation, and why him? Why not someone else? That's still my question. Still not clear to me. I don't know if it's clear to you guys.
His face. We're good. Just say you have his face and he's guilty, But yeah, they took that extra sweet time. And another thing I wanted to talk about is some people said that this is a tactic. They are not giving the evidence because they want defense to have as little time as possible so they can prepare like good enough defense against their case. Okay, well, I guess they're willing to risk millions of dollars that Tip USA is losing right now and Erica Kirk's reputation. Because people are watching Candace, me and others. Like, I guess they're willing to risk all that for that tiny little evidence that they have not provided. Like, why? Put this video out that you're talking about, that this guy, shot Charlie Kirk, and Candace's show is done. Mine, everyone else's, and we'll say, you know what?
We'll be right
apologize.
back. There's obviously a cover-up. We'll talk about it straight ahead. Now, coming up in just the next month or so, it looks like this is finally it. They're finally able to shut down InfoWars. But
it does seem suspicious, if you ask me. It definitely seems suspicious, because if that's all they need to do is provide the video evidence and they're holding it off, then yeah, you would think that by now they would have already released it to shut up the likes of Candace Owens, who is making a killing out of this whole story, and also to shut up the lights of Elizabeth Lane. So yeah, it does seem suspicious. I'm going to jump ahead here because Alex is doing like some ads. Yeah.
They're great. The t-shirts, all of it at the AlexJonesStore.com. But here we have a clip of the prosecution. This is a week ago or so, revealed that UVM cameras, university, captured Tyler Robinson going to the sniper's perch, taking the shot at Charlie Kirk, and then running away in a wooded area. Well, I've talked to FBI agents, current and former, not just Carl Seraphin. They would always, Tucker talked to his sources, put something like this out, smoking gun proof.
Exactly.
But they don't. Here's the clip, and I want Elizabeth Lane to respond to it. She was there in the courtroom when this was said. Here it is.
He then leaves the campus. UVU surveillance then captures him return later. He returns on foot right before the Charlie Kirk event. He's wearing a disguise of sorts. He's wearing a baseball cap, different baseball cap, pulled low. He's got sunglasses on, a different shirt, different pants, but the same Converse shoes. That's all seen in the surveillance. He's limping because there's a rifle down his pants. The surveillance captures this individual. Again, I don't want to overstate the evidence because the pictures of his face at this time are not as definitive as they were earlier because of the sunglasses and the hat. But it captures his face, captures his appearance, his height, his build, all consistent with how he looks earlier in the day and how he looks today in court. But he makes his way to the rooftop, makes his way to the sniper's perch on the rooftop, takes the shot, and then runs to the northeast, drops off the building and runs to the northeast of campus into a wooded area. That's all captured on video.
So I'm a guy that knows the trans cult does this, so I'm like, yeah, I see that. I've been open-minded. But why did Kash Patel, confirmed, we broke it, order and get Trump to agree that Tulsi Gabbard and...
No, well, here's a question. So why can't these guys, people, Tyler Robinson, why can't they just provide an alibi? Isn't that just the easy thing? Or was he actually also at that event? Because if they can just prove that he was never there and he has an alibi, then there you go. There's your defense. I don't know. Like, I haven't really listened to his defense. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Like, any of you guys that have been following this story closely, let me know what you think about this one. Like, have you listened to Tyler Robinson's defense? And are they, like, what are they arguing to defend their guy?
Joe Kent would not look into foreign connection evidence they had or accomplices domestically. Why would you do that?
You know what? Actually, you know what? Now I'm curious. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check it out, actually. So what is Tyler Robinson's defense? So let's see. I'll just go on AI mode so I don't have to read all this stuff. So it says here, the defense for Tyler Robinson, who was accused of killing conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Hold on a second. So the has primarily focused on challenging the forensic evidence and seeking to limit media influence on potential jurors. Robinson has not yet entered a formal plea. So it looks like they're just primarily focused on challenging the forensic evidence. But why can't they just say, like, was he at the scene or was he not at the scene? and seeking to limit media influence on potential jurors. Okay. So Robinson's legal team has raised significant questions regarding the scientific evidence used to tie him to the crime. Ballistic analysis. Defense attorneys recently highlighted a report from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, that was unable to identify the bullet recovered from the autopsy as having come from the rifle allegedly tied to Robinson. DNA evidence. The defense argues that the DNA findings are complex and potentially unreliable, noting that forensic reports from the FBI and ATF showed mixtures of DNA from up to 5 or more individuals on various items of evidence. Okay, so they have requested additional time. That's fair enough, yeah. Okay, so hold on a second. Now let me ask a question here. Was Robinson at the scene of the crime? Let's see. Yes, prosecutors allege that Tyler Robinson was at the scene and have presented several pieces of evidence to place him at Utah Valley University on the day of the shooting. Surveillance video. So footage reportedly shows Robinson arriving on campus at 8:29 a.m. on September 10, 2025 in gray Dodge Challenger. Additional video allegedly shows the suspect running across a rooftop overlooking the event and leaping to the ground to flee. Physical presence. Robinson allegedly stayed near the crime scene for hours after the shooting. He was reportedly stopped by an officer on the perimeter while trying to return to the area to retrieve his rifle from a drop point, but was not detained at that time. Confession evidence. In messages to his partner and friends on Discord, Robinson allegedly stated he was stuck in Orem after the shooting and was watching the area to find a way to get back to his rifle. Forensic link. Okay, so while the defense has challenged the reality of the DNA and ballistic evidence, they have primarily focused on preventing media coverage of the trial rather than offering a specific alibi for his presence on campus. Okay, I see. So yeah, for sure that video there would be like something that could damn him. If they can just provide the video of him, then I guess like it's, but why are they holding that video? That is the question, I guess. So we'll keep watching here. But definitely interesting.
The TPUSA high level to talk to Kash Patel. The Kash like, well, maybe they knew, but we can't prove it. We don't want to have a case that fails. Oh, yeah, right. Now you've just proven the group. So there is a cover-up. What is the cover-up? Do you agree with that statement, Elizabeth Lane? And what have you witnessed in the prosecution?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, yes, I agree. There's a cover-up. There's no doubt that there's a cover-up. But the reason you saw this particular prosecutor go and tell you how there's going to be a cap and glasses and shoes again, he needs this because he doesn't have a face. So it could be anybody. It could be Lance Twiggs, for example, who had the access to Tyler's cap, shoes, pants, similar build, all of that. So the reason he needs to state all this stuff for the people to hear is because he doesn't have a clear face on that camera. So it could be anybody. I'm sorry, but I don't buy this bullshit unless they can present Tyler Robinson's face, like clear face or blurry, but face. That he's going up there on that roof to shoot Charlie, then I'm sorry, but anything they can present could be anybody. And it's just not, it doesn't make sense. Another point that I've mentioned is very simple. If you had this video all along where you claim that it's specifically Tyler Robinson, not some other dude doing this, then why risk millions of dollars that TPUSA and all these fans that TPUSA is losing? And Erica Kirk's image that is tarnished by not putting that out. Just put it out and it's over. Put out Tyler Robinson actually shooting Charlie Kirk. And all of this mess of TPUSA Candace Owens fight is over. As simple as that. And we haven't seen that video. We've seen usual stuff. Like some guy in Tyler Robinson's shirt.
Well, I mean, since when is there a bank robbery or anything that the FBI doesn't show the video?
Exactly.
I mean, while they're why would they not?
It is true. It is true. Yeah, they should just provide the video. Like, I think it's a pretty simple ask, right? Provide the video so we can actually have a look at it and see for ourselves. But instead, they're rather showing like forensic evidence to say, okay, well, we have like his DNA, but then apparently the DNA also has like 5 other people there as well. I think it's 5 from what we read on the AI search. So yeah, I think the definitive evidence here would be the video. So why are they holding that on and dragging this along? That is the question, really.
Almost 8 months later, release that.
Also, Alex, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember there was a neighbor interviewed of Tyler Robinson's family, and the neighbor said, looking at all these videos that we already have with the glasses and hat and all that, she said, I couldn't recognize it. Like it doesn't look like Tyler, So this is a neighbor who watched this kid grow up, and she could not identify Tyler in that disguise or whatever you want to, like fashion, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So it's weird. To me, it's very weird. And now they are not releasing this particular video that they say that they have of him actually taking the shot. Okay, well, I mean, okay, bro, we believe you. That's all I can say. But we have a lot of questions,
well,
right?
Let me ask you this. You've been in most of these hearings, right?
Yes.
So you're talking to the family. Somebody's following you along as this recording says to Candace. I mean, what else is not caught on tape? Or what else have the family told you? You were saying in general they support him. I mean, what was that? What have they said to you?
Yeah. So first and foremost, this poor family is in a very bad spot. Like you can tell that they are devastated. So they all of a sudden ended up in this weird situation where Tyler's characteristics don't add up with any of this. He's not that kid. Again, Lance Twiggs is. He's a violent kid. But Tyler doesn't know how to shoot a gun. He couldn't have shot that gun that accurately right in the jugular. It's just not possible. This is what I gather.
Well, plus the 30-06 shoots right to the throat. I don't care what anybody says.
That was a really good shot, right? That was definitely a really good shot. So if Tyler doesn't even know how to shoot a gun, that could definitely be used in his defense. So I wonder why that's not being used. Or is it being used? I don't think so. It looks like right now they're just focusing on having the media stop covering the hearing and then challenging the forensic evidence. But yeah, like it's like, why are they not also looking at other avenues to defend him? Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah. And it's very crazy to me that the gun is in Quantico. Kathy Nestor said that we haven't even seen the gun. We are right before preliminary and we have not even seen the gun. So that's really strange. That's extremely strange to me, at least. So, yeah.
Well, where do you see this going? I mean, what an incredible recording that got to Candace Owens of you talking to folks. I know somebody else recorded it. But just can you tell me what else, when you say you talk to the family quite a bit, what else there's... When you say they don't buy the official story, they're very supportive of Tyler, quantify that. What else are they telling you?
So I had a friend of mine, Brandy Siciliani, with me, and she also spoke to a family member. I'm not going to say who, but the family member said only 2% of what you hear in the media is true. Now sit with that for a second. Only 2% of what you hear in the media is true.
Yeah, but
Headline, Tyler Robinson.
I don't think you can just throw out a number like that. You need to back it up, right? Like, what is he using to justify that statement? Where is his evidence? And then how do we know what we're hearing on the alternative media is also true? How many percent is true?
Family member, only 2% of what you hear in the media is true. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it tells me everything, Alex. It tells me that this family, convinced Tyler that do the right thing. You just killed the man. Like, all of that is bullshit. That tells me that. Also, this weird narrative of, this whole, him going in the police station, and we don't really have the video of that and all that. I think all that was made up. And what's crazy is that...
So the question Alex asked her, though, because Alex said, what else is the family telling you? Like, is he just the grandfather that is showing support for Charlie? What about his dad? What about his mom? What are they telling you? I wonder if she would answer that. Let's keep listening.
I mean, all I know is my own personal show trials. I don't know if those were total show trials. I was there. They said I peed on graves, and then they would go, who peed on graves? We don't know. Who told you? I don't know. It was all just made up. I mean, that's pretty bold to say. People are peeing on graves. None of it was true. But it just sounds good. What it's like they just do it.
Yeah. And again, like I said, this family is in a very bad spot. I mean, I could see that they were struggling even like throughout the hearing, like they were devastated, and they know that they're,
so
Tyler
we didn't see Tyler.
Yeah, so devastation is expected, right? If your child has committed such a gruesome, or is being alleged to have committed such a gruesome crime, like for sure you would be definitely like disoriented and devastated. So, but I want to hear, like, what are they telling you, Miss Lane?
At least what I saw of this latest hearing, how did he look? How did Tyler Robinson look?
So Tyler didn't say much, and we were sitting behind him, so I couldn't see his face. I could only see his back, like that's all I could see. But we were sitting right behind the family, so that I saw plenty of. I believe there were 6 of them that day supporting Tyler. So yes, and these are very nice people. I always say, like, Tyler's grandpa is a guy that, like old-fashioned American who will stop to help you on a highway if your tire is like blown out or something, like even if he's rushing somewhere. That's what kind of guy he is. And we were, me, Brandy, and like I believe everyone likes this family, whoever had interactions with them. So it's really hard for me to see that they somehow raised a monster, And again, like going back to the neighbor that spoke out in front of cameras, she says, well, first of all, I couldn't recognize Tyler in that clothes at all. And second, she said something very interesting. She said, what kind of people has he been hanging out with? Meaning, whatever they are telling me, that does not align with Tyler's characteristics. So he must be hanging out with some bad people. Otherwise, she would have said, yeah, well, I know that kid was trouble, or something like that.
So
but
they had no idea the official story that he's living with a tranny.
Who had no idea? Sorry.
Sounds like they had no idea the official story was happening.
No, I was talking about the neighbor, like the previous video.
Sure,
of the
but
neighbor,
also
not
the neighbor,
parent.
all of them, the old neighbor that never saw it, the family, all of it.
No, I don't know if family obviously knew that he was living with Twigs, but I'm talking about the neighbor who couldn't recognize Tyler on the video.
No, I knew that too. I'm just saying, in general, how much of the official story lines up with what you're hearing?
Like almost none of it.
Oh.
So yeah, that's why I don't think we're going to hear anything until trial day comes. That's when defense will actually present their strategy. That's when everything that legal team has on the other side, on the prosecution side, will come up with, swinging. If they have anything, I really doubt.
Sure.
But
What are the people saying? Because I can see he set up another shooter. Obviously, Crooks had help in Pennsylvania. Obviously, there's a cover-up. It's confirmed the FBI did that from people in the cabinet meeting. But, Robinson could have been part of this. I mean, we don't know. I think it's fair to investigate it all. It's very good to question, and things lean towards, this being an Israeli assassination or something along those lines. I'll just say the evidence points towards that, but that's still speculative. But what's going to happen when they release the footage? The computers out there are really good at finding if something's AI. But they can also tell you if a camera shoots video off of a screen, they can do it where it's very hard to tell, but a computer can tell. I'm predicting if they shoot off a screen, which is AI, how you cover up AI is use a normal camera to shoot off a screen of AI, then they could put it out and say it's real. I'm really concerned about AI here if there is a setup going on. And then, they would...
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that's what I said in a previous show, that the reason they are holding this evidence so long, I believe that if they have to go to trial, they have to present it, right? So if they have to go to trial, they will have to somehow manipulate it if they don't have
Sure, but I just gave the old primitive way to cover up AI.
That makes sense. So yeah, like it could be that's why they're delaying it, so that they can buy themselves some time to get it all like figured out how they're going to make the video look. And then also to give the people less time to be able to investigate the evidence and see whether it was made up or not. So it makes complete sense. But it looks like from what I'm hearing here, it looks like what the mainstream would have us believe is that the whole family, they are not for Tyler, and that they basically turned him in. But it looks like his grandfather actually thinks that, or at least believes that his grandson is being set up. So it doesn't line up with what the mainstream media would have us believe. I will continue to follow this closely just to see, because I'm curious, especially now that we're starting to see a rise in people attempting things like these, right? So for sure, I'll be following this closely. Yeah, I'll be sure to let me know what you think about this in the chat. Be sure to give this video a like and a subscribe. I thank you guys for rocking with me, and I'll see you on the next one.